the fishing village became my sanctuary. For 2 weeks, I stayed with the kind old woman whom everyone simply called Grandma May. She was small and frail, with hair as white as snow and eyes that glimmered with quiet wisdom. She didn't ask for much, only that I help her with small chores around her hut in exchange for food and shelter. During the day, I fetched water, mended fishing nets, and gathered firewood. At night, when the village grew quiet, I sat by the shore, staring out at the endless ocean. The waves whispered to me, carrying memories of that terrifying night. Each crash against the rocks reminded me of my vow. I would return. I would make them pay. Grandma May seemed to sense the storm raging inside me. One evening, as we sat together by the fire, she reached over and gently held my hand. "Child," she said softly, her voice rough with age, "I don't know the full story, but I see the anger in your eyes. It burns like a wildfire. Be careful. Fire can warm a home or destroy it." I swallowed hard, blinking back tears. "I can't just forget, Grandma May. My own sister did this to me. She tried to erase me." Grandma May's eyes darkened with sorrow. "Blood betraying blood is a wound that cuts deepest," she murmured. "But don't let that wound turn you into something you're not." Her words sank deep into me. I knew she was right. If I let my rage consume me, I would become no better than Claire. But still, I couldn't let Claire win. Not after everything she had taken from me. Early one morning, before the sun had fully risen, I quietly packed the few belongings Grandma May had given me. A simple dress, some food wrapped in cloth, and a small carved charm for luck. Grandma May stood at the edge of the path, her hands clasped tightly together. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, worry etched across her face. I nodded firmly. "I have to go back. She thinks I'm gone forever, but I'm not. I won't let her destroy me." Grandma May hugged me tightly, her fragile arms surprisingly strong. "Then go, child. Go and reclaim your life. But remember what I told you. Don't let the fire burn you." Tears blurred my vision as I pulled away. "I'll never forget what you did for me," I whispered. "Thank you." With that, I turned and walked down the path, my heart pounding with determination. It took me 2 days to make my way back to the city. I traveled on foot, then caught a bus using some of the coins Grandma May had pressed into my hand before I left. When the towering skyline finally came into view, a lump formed in my throat. This was my home, my life. And somewhere out there, Claire was living it as though I had never existed. I couldn't risk being seen yet, so I kept to the back streets, avoiding anyone who might recognize me. My first stop was a small hotel on the outskirts of town. The place was shabby, but it was cheap and, more importantly, anonymous. As I sank onto the creaky bed, exhaustion washed over me. But there was no time to rest. I needed to know what Claire had been doing in my absence. The next day, I disguised myself with a plain scarf and sunglasses, then ventured into the heart of the city. I started by visiting places Claire and I used to frequent. Our favorite cafe, the boutique where we shopped, the park where we used to sit and talk for hours. What I discovered chilled me to the bone. Claire wasn't just living her life. She was living mine. At the cafe, the barista greeted her name warmly. My name. "Good morning, Anna," she chirped, handing over a coffee order. My stomach twisted in fury. She had taken my identity, my friends, my entire world. Later, as I watched from across the street, I saw Claire step out of a luxury car, laughing with my old colleagues as if nothing had happened. She wore my clothes. She used my signature perfume. She had even dyed her hair to match mine. It was like looking into a distorted mirror, my life being paraded around by a stranger. I clenched my fists until my nails dug into my palms. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was theft. Claire had stolen everything, right down to my very name. That night, I returned to the hotel room and sat in the dark, shaking with rage. For a brief moment, I wanted to storm into her house, scream the truth, and tear down her carefully constructed lie. But I stopped myself. Storming in blindly would only get me hurt, or worse, killed. Claire had already proven she was willing to go to extremes to get what she wanted. No, if I was going to win this fight, I had to be smart, strategic. Like a chess game, every move had to be calculated, and the first move was information. Over the next few weeks, I quietly gathered intelligence. I followed Claire from a distance, noting who she met with, where she went, and what she said. I learned that she wasn't working alone. There were powerful people backing her, people who had profited from my disappearance. These weren't just criminals. They were business elites, politicians, and even law enforcement officers. The realization made my blood run cold. Taking down Claire wouldn't be enough. If I wanted true justice, I had to expose the entire network. But how could one woman fight against such power? The answer came unexpectedly in the form of an old friend. One rainy evening, as I sat in the corner of a quiet bar, a familiar voice spoke behind me. "Anna, is that really you?" I froze. Slowly, I turned to see Michael, my childhood friend, and the only person who had ever truly understood me. He looked older, wearier, but his warm brown eyes were the same. Tears sprang into my eyes as I nodded. "It's me, Michael." He stared at me in shock. "Everyone thinks you're dead. Claire said you drowned, that they never found your body." I laughed bitterly. That's exactly what she wanted everyone to believe. Quickly, I told him everything: the betrayal, the kidnapping, the escape. By the time I finished, Michael's hands were trembling with rage. "She'll pay for this," he growled. "I swear, Anna, we'll make her pay." I reached across the table, gripping his hand tightly. "We can't rush this, Michael. She's not alone. She has people protecting her, powerful people." He nodded slowly, determination hardening his features. "Then we'll be smarter. We'll gather evidence, build a case. When we strike, we'll bring the whole house of cards down." For the first time since my nightmare began, hope flickered in my chest. I wasn't alone anymore. Over the following months, Michael and I worked tirelessly in secret. We documented everything: every shady deal, every bribe, every connection Claire had to the underworld. It was painstaking work, and there were moments when I wanted to give up. But then I would remember the dark room there they kept me, the sound of Claire's laughter as she betrayed me, and my resolve would return stronger than ever. Meanwhile, Claire remained blissfully unaware. From afar, I watched as she hosted glamorous parties, gave interviews to the press, and flaunted her newfound power. She was living the life she had stolen, and the higher she climbed, the harder she would fall. The night would come when I would stand before her, not as the broken sister she tried to erase, but as her reckoning. And when that night came, the world would finally see the truth. What would you do if someone you loved stole your entire life and left you for dead? Would you forgive them or fight to take back what's yours? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support us, and make sure you never miss the next part of this gripping journey. To be continued.